forward to looking at this passage with you this morning. Exciting stuff going on here. John chapter 9. As he, being Jesus, went along, he saw a man blind from birth. His disciples asked him, "Rabbi, who sinned, this man or his parents, that he was born blind?" Jen, do you remember when you got pregnant? I mean, the pregnancy test, all that stuff. You remember that? Seems like a long time ago now, doesn't it? You see, that was probably a pretty awesome moment when the doctor told you you're pregnant. I remember the day the doctor told my wife we were going to expect our first child. For this woman, it had to have been an amazing day. They didn't have doctors back then to tell ladies they were pregnant, but this woman thought that maybe, just maybe, she might be pregnant. There's one sure way for women to tell back then if you were pregnant. You feel the baby move. And you know things are coming soon. You can feel the baby. I remember when you could almost see my children's footprint on my wife's abdomen. You know, you could almost grab their foot as they got farther along. This woman was excited. She was looking forward to getting to meet her newborn. There was so much joy in the house, so much to be thankful for. Her and her husband were excited. They were finally going to have a little one in the house. Then came those chaotic few moments when the woman tells her husband, "Go get the midwife, this is it," and he runs to her home to find her, to bring her back to the house. There were no emergency rooms or doctors or labor delivery rooms back then. So he ran and got the midwife, and the midwife came to the house, and they were all excited, and the man is pacing, waiting for the baby to be born, and then in this whole process of the delivery, the midwife all of a sudden gets very quiet, and the mom wonders what's wrong. What's happened? She hears the baby cry, and yet there doesn't seem to be something right with this child's eyes, but the woman doesn't know it yet, and she finally finishes the delivery, and the midwife gives her son to her. But something is not right with his eyes. Something seems to be wrong. They discover that her son is blind from birth. It is not unreasonable to assume that this midwife probably takes off running, because they were of the opinion that if a child was born like this, if a child was born with some kind of deformity, then somebody in this house sinned. And it's not unreasonable to come to the conclusion that this midwife probably got out of there as fast as she could. She did not want to be subject to the evil that came with a family that had to have sinned something fierce for this child to be born like this. Midwife takes off. All of these hopes that they had for their child began to vanish. The woman was thinking, well, if I have a daughter, I'll be able to teach her how to do this thing, and if I have a girl, I'll be able to do this with her, and the father is thinking, if I have a son, I'll be able to teach him the trade that I'm engaged in my life. I'll be able to do this with him. I'll be able to go out into the yard and play with him. It'll be so exciting. And now they look at their son, and they know that none of these things will come true. For the rest of this man's life will be dependent on his parents. There's blindness, and this is before the days of Braille, before the days of the Americans with Disabilities Act. There is none of that stuff. His life is now essentially ruined because he has no ability to see, and everyone in town thinks that this man and his family are sinners. Avoids them like the plague. No hope. No peace. No opportunity for for anything significant to happen in his life. There in their arms is their son. No hope. I look around the sanctuary on Sunday morning to Sunday morning. I look into your eyes and I wonder what takes place in your life. I see individuals that struggle with all kinds of things. I see individuals that struggle with Alzheimer's or Parkinson's. Individuals that struggle with arthritis or diabetes. Individuals that are at war in relationships. Heart disease. Cancer. I see the effect of debilitating, ongoing, perpetual pain. I see individuals that go through the depths of emotional chaos and struggle, deep depression, anxiety, turmoil, all the stressors that come with a mind that likes to play games with itself, tries to cause discouragement in the heart and mind, and there's this inner struggle, and it keeps going, and it keeps going, and it keeps going, and you wonder, is this ever going to end? Is the pain going to end? Is the physical struggle going to end? Is there any hope for the situation that I find myself in? Then you have these disciples that come down the road and say, Rabbi, Jesus, who sinned? Somebody had to sin for this to turn out the way it did. I mean, look at them. Somebody had to sin. Who sinned? We have those kinds of things that are said in our world today. I wonder what so-and-so did to be going through such a terrible time. God must be punishing them. God must be taking out his holy justice on those people. They must have done something wrong to be going through that kind of stuff. Well-meaning people say things that only dig the hopelessness deeper, only drive it farther into the heart and into the mind. We have churches even in our country that are saying God hates America and kills soldiers for it. It's ridiculous. Does God like sin? No, he does not. God does not like sin. Are there natural consequences to sin? Absolutely. But God does not sit in heaven looking for people to destroy. God does not sit up there saying, well, I think I'm going to mess with Terry today. This ought to be fun. I'm going to zap him with cancer. We'll see how he handles that. No, I don't think so. But there are some that do. And there are some that wrestle with all the anxiety that comes with hopelessness. Does God care? Is there any hope? Will this situation ever resolve itself? This man knows how you feel. Day after day, along the road, probably begging. He lived off of the pity of others. That's how he lived. No hope. When Jesus comes on the scene, did you notice there's still no hope? Did you catch that when you read it? There's no hope. Even when Jesus shows up, there's no hope. The disciples had no hope for him. The man had no hope for him. The parents had no hope for him. Even when Jesus showed up, no hope. Nothing. So Jesus said, neither sin. There is no evidence that this man believes that Jesus can do anything in his life. There is no evidence that anyone believes Jesus can do anything. Something about the depth of this man's blindness was so deep that some biblical scholars believe that this blindness was so deep that it's entirely possible this man did not even have eyes. And let me tell you something. It's one thing for Jesus to work a miracle with what's there. It's an entirely different story for Jesus to work a miracle with what isn't there. And sure, maybe Jesus could work a miracle if he had legitimate eyes to work with. But can Jesus work a miracle if there are no legitimate eyes to work with? Well, apparently everybody that day didn't think so. And I wonder, are things so messed up in your life? Have things been going on for so long in your life as they are? Have things been taking place in your life for so long that even if Jesus were to show up here in person this morning, you would question whether or not Jesus could do anything in your life? Jesus shows up on the scene. And no one asks for a miracle. No one expects a miracle. No one believes a miracle is possible, including the man. There is no hope. Jesus looks around. Parents don't have hope. The man doesn't have hope. The disciples don't have hope. The crowd doesn't have hope. Are you here without hope this morning?